A very warm welcome to one and all to another exciting episode of Success Tales. Today we have with us Mr. Ankit Agarwal, who is the founder of Skilled and director of Doon Global School, Dehradun. Skilled is an initiative of Doon Global School. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for taking out time for us. We'll be starting with our questionnaire, that is, with our interview, and I'll be asking sir certain questions, and we would like to know about this initiative called Skilled. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Sugandha. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for taking out time for us, sir.
Always pleasure.
Yes, sir. Sir, so Skilled initiative. The Skilled School is very popular for its after-school activities, the daycare, the kindergarten, and the primary classes, that is up to the grade 2 and so on. It is already so popular and it has developed, it has built a brand of itself, sir. So please kindly tell us how was this initiative founded and what was the vision behind Skilled?
The thought came up about 6-7 years back when my eldest son was about 5 plus, and we didn't had any post-school activities or engagements for him. So I started looking around to find some activities for him. Unfortunately, couldn't find anything for his age group. So that time the thought came to me, why not I jump into this particular part of engagement. So that's how we started with the after school program, primarily at a rented place, and it was post school time with the age group of 4 to 12 at that time. And it had plethora of activities ranging from physical fitness to foreign languages to art and craft, music, dance. So basically, the thought started as an after-school program, and as we progressed into the program, we found the need to further expand the canvas in terms of daycare services and morning kindergarten services, which are the preschool. So that was out of the requirement because a lot of parents reached out to us and said we require a full-time engagement of our children, and so that's how the thought started, and the vision took the shape from an after-school to primarily full-day programs.
Right, sir. So, as we know that before, when you think of starting your own venture, we come across a lot of challenges and a lot of difficulties, especially during the initial stages. So, during the early days of Skilled, what were the challenges that your team faced?
After school program is a very short-lived time duration program. Majorly, parents used to look at it like a summer program or a say holidays program. So we wanted to tell them that engagement of a child into co-curricular activities is more of a holistic program, and it should be at least 8 to 10 months in a year, not just for 2 months or 1 month in a year. So that was an understanding which we wanted to have with our parents or the community which was coming to us. And slowly, the average time spent by a parent increased, say, from 1 month or 2 months to about 6 to 8 months. So that was a wonderful acceptance of our belief, our programs. And as we added other programs like kindergarten and daycare, the acceptability further increased, and we got parents who sent their awards for round the year programs. So this is like to start with one of the challenge which we faced. Of course, when we look at certain programs, parents have a traditional mindset that this is how it is because we have seen, say, in our growing up years, to be done like that. But it's a modern day, newer activities, newer infrastructure is available. So, blending that into the program, making that acceptable to the program, and also giving time to the program is the biggest challenge when it comes to a parenting. Uh, I'm sorry to say, parent wants very shortcut sort of an approach to if the child is learning say an instrument, they want him to be performing in a month's time. But it's actually very adaptive, very skill-oriented thing, how well the child accepts it. So it builds over the time. It's a very organic way of learning. So I believe that acceptability is a challenge when any program is started. So these are a few challenges which I look back and which we see at today's time.
Right, sir. So last year we saw the pandemic times, right? And the education sector has been specifically affected by COVID-19. So we all witnessed the migration of online classes, like migration of offline classes to a completely online mode. So what challenges did you face as an institution, and what did you do to adapt to the situation?
I will put it very bluntly. I believe we didn't had any option. When I say we, it was inclusive of school and the parent community. We have to migrate onto the platform at a very quick speed. And good part about it is since this future was uncertain and the technology has evolved over the time, both school and the parent community built resources and migrated onto the platforms quite quickly. And I believe acceptability and the adaptability has improved over the period of time. Uh, in my normal understanding, I'd say the progression would have taken at least 5 to 7 years for this much of technology to be integrated, which happened in probably say 5 weeks. So it was actually a very disruptive moment for our education, for our scenario. And I am happy both the teaching community and the parents community adapted to it, came on board, accepted the fact, and helped both child and the environment to use it more effectively. And I believe as we look today, after say 14, 16 months of how the situation was, we are in a better position. We are better equipped to handle COVID now.
Right, sir. So, sir, what according to you is the USP of skills?
It's a wonderful question which you have posed. I will not term it or reduce it to one or two aspects. It will be little bigger in its nature. Fundamentally, we at Skilled have followed knowledge, skills, and attitude be the building moments or the building blocks of our learning environment. Knowledge is something which we gain through our regular academic affairs. Skill is something which we adapt or which we enhance over the period of time by means of doing various activities. And attitude is something which is not provided by anybody. It is self-grown or it's an experiential thing which is attained by anybody. So these three are the fundamental or building blocks to our emphasis, to our reach out when we do with any child or any parent. Apart from that, I really feel we built a thought process around our team, our parent community, to make all things very experiential. Let them come, let them feel, let them spend a lot of time, let them get acquainted with what's happening. Because learning is something which is very organic affair, which will develop, which will not be time bound. It will happen. It may not happen in that class. It may happen outside somewhere. It may happen in some XYZ room, or it may happen on the terrace, or it may happen in some in our field visits or in our role plays. So the thought was very simple that let's not bound the child with anything. So that's where we feel the experiential thought which we put it into our delivery model was something very good, very unique in our delivery. Other major aspect which we have believed is to have parents on board. We tried to have a lot of parent interaction. We built a lot of infrastructure in terms of communication. That all parents should be participative in our efforts, in our way of delivery which we wish to do. That has helped us very wonderfully, and not just helped us, it has actually given a lot of some wonderful inputs from our parent community that this is what has been, this has worked, this has not worked, or this can be done this in a better manner. So that's what I feel. Experiential way of learning and the parental aspect of our inclusion into our delivery model has been some sort of a unique element into our affair of things.
I really liked your answer, sir, because I know that as a parent, I too sent my kid to a lot of schools before coming to Uttarakhand as well. And specifically in Dehradun, I've seen that the traditional school setup, there is no such collaboration between the teaching community and the parent community, which I have myself as a parent witnessed in Scale School, and I would like to congratulate your school for that, because building a foundation for a kid requires equal effort from both the teaching community as well as the parent community, and the kind of parent-teacher interactions your school hold, it is commendable, sir. So congratulations to you on that, sir. So, sir, I have seen recently that many people, they are willing to start a school. Okay, they start a school with a passion, then they thrive for 1 year, and then again they go in loss and they fail. I would like you to throw some light on the particular qualities required by a person who wishes to start his own school.
Great. I really feel I'll not restrict my answer to just to a school, but for just expanding a little bit. If we wish to do anything, it starts with a passion. The thought you wish to do or add or contribute to the system, to our environment, to our systems, is where the start happens. And obviously, you have to have a lot of background work, which is research about what type of place you wish to put together, what type of delivery model you wish to put together. There'll be good days, there'll be bad days, there'll be days you don't know what will happen next day. But when you start walking, you have to have that zeal, you have to have that commitment, you have to have that passion within, or promise to yourself that yes, let me put it together. We start with something, and as we grow along, as we move along, the vision expands, and that is the learning. So learnings have to be reflected upon, included upon, and but the core of your thought should not get diverted. Yes, I feel starting any new venture or any new thought is something which is has to have a very long-term implications to it. But yes, building the team, building the entire infrastructure, not just physical, the connectivity, the communications, the nature of work demands a lot of back and forth happening. So I really feel it starts with the passion. Then when you start actually working on the ground, build the team, start from the scratch. Every few months, few days, you have to go back to the drawing board, see whether you are on the right direction. You have started with the thought, give a good amount of time to test your thought. It's just not that somebody came in and said, no, don't do this, just try this way. Yes, you may try that, but don't let go of your central thought. And I believe if there are learnings, that learnings will definitely help you to grow, to improve, and but your central thought will always give you that thing that yes, you started well, or you didn't start it well, but you had that learning which helped you to took a direction which completed your task. So I really feel that you have to stay focused, come back next day with full of energy, reboot yourself many times. As I said, there will be bad days, but as you said, your thought has to prevail, and there is no person better than you know yourself that what that thought was and how to make it happen. That's how it should be.
So you talked about building team. What, according to you, is the importance of a good team in any business?
I really feel it starts with a great attitude. The people whom you wish to bring on board should have a great attitude. They should be they should be challenging you yourself also, in case they don't find the things in which are asked to be done. So a great attitude actually lifts up the entire place. So that's what we try and look into our team members. Obviously, their skill sets, even if they don't have the certain skill sets, those skill sets can be exposed to them, they can be upskilled, or they can be given further trainings and exposure. So you have to build that skill sets to help them back their attitude. And obviously, once you grow, once you get into the things, we have to be grounded enough to listen to what's happening. We have to, we are in the service industry. Our eyes, our ears, our entire systems should be on ground to be available for any even small thing happening. And that is where the I'll suggest to all people who wish to get into the service industry, especially education, be grounded, listen to what your team is saying, listen to what your parent community is saying, uh, have your vision in balance, and I'm sure a great team will always support you in good times.
So, sir, what according to you should be the qualities of a good leader who is heading a team or heading a venture?
I believe when we look at today's leaders, uh, pretty much everywhere now open style of offices or open environment in the office is available. When I say open environment, means anybody can walk up to anybody. They can share their thoughts. Your doors are always open to your team, and that is part of a great attitude which is developed or built within the team. Uh, we should not just be discussing work all the time. We should be working on so many team building activities. And a leader of today is somebody who actually, again, is decently connected with their team members. I don't say that they have to spend a lot of time together, but yes, they have to be available to them. They have to be as a guiding force. They have to be available as a support model in the background if needed, and that is where the leaders help the team members to perform. Actually, the work is done by the team. The leaders are always there in the background to help them, guide them, motivate them, inspire them. That's the role of actually a true leader, nothing more than that. Yes, to do that, you have to be having your knowledge in place, you have to have your skills in place, and the attitude to back it up.
So, sir, one very important question that I would like to ask you is like these days the number of single parents is on the rise. So, there should be a framework that should be offered by the country at different levels to support this community. And the education sector especially should provide or should offer such services wherein they can include these communities and specifically provide a very good environment to the kids of single parents. So, I would like to ask you about certain initiatives that you've taken, or what are the different ways in which you provide support to these parents. As you know, being a single parent, it is very difficult to juggle between the job and the childcare and so on, sir. Right? Many a times, I have personally felt that on certain PTMs, I was not able to make time for the meetings, or on certain occasions, on certain functions, I couldn't be there. Although I tried to be there like 95, 99% of the time, but due to certain work commitments, we couldn't be there. And um, this also creates a lot of guilt in us as parents. But what, as a school, have you been trying to contribute in this particular area, sir?
That's a wonderful thought. Actually, I never gave a separate thought towards this as a means when we talk about our service industry. Though yes, we think in lot many ways, but when asked directly about such a thing, frankly, nothing separately I have given a thought. But yes, over the period of time, as we look back, uh, the model has been quite flexible in terms of like pick up and drop. Uh, see, uh, in in any say institution, we work by the clock. It's 6 o'clock. The parent should be here to take the child. And there are times when my team has stayed back even till 7:30 to accommodate somebody who's running late. When we talk about working parents and single parents, extension of services like transport, curated services like one-on-one teaching support or specialized academic support. Um, then apart from that, a wonderful thought that somebody is not able to meet, come for a PTM or a parent teachers meet. Uh, I can now say that those are the gone days now. Means as with the uh, advent of the technology, there will be no parent will be missing out on a PTM. Schools will be offering the online slots for the parents now who are not able to physically attend to it. So I really feel it comes from our mindset as a service provider, as a school owner or senior management. We need to show that flexibility to our this section of parents, give them that confidence, give them that flexibility that yes, we are there. See, it is very easy to say right now, but it actually depends on how both the entities, that is the parent and the school, is actually reciprocating in so many ways. So I really feel we'll be reaching out to our community, our single parent community, and ask them for certain of their inputs in this direction to make this journey more helpful to them, more flexible to them, and make it more purposeful for them. Thank you.
So, sir, where do we see Skilled in next 5 years?
Question is, where do I see Skilled after 5 years? Frankly speaking, I don't know. I just know that it will be better accepted at that time, much more vibrant than today, much more fun to be at Skilled. Uh, a great community must have grown by that time. I don't talk about business sense we may be having X number of schools or this or that or X number of students. I just want the fun factor, the learning factor, all the soft factors which are part of us should multiply, multifold in next 5 years. That is what my thought is. All our students who are young, they should remain in touch with Skilled, who have gone on to other institutions. They should always have that feeling that Skilled was their first school. And I believe that if we are able to retain a feeling like that after 5 years, and many such students, we do a lot of retreats with them, we do a lot of parents sessions, onboarding sessions also. So that is all about it. I really feel curriculum wise will be better, the team wise will be further better, all that thing, but nothing as business. I never have put any milestones in place that okay, this, that, nothing. That is all part of the journey. That is all part of the growing up. I'm sure we'll be doing much better than what we are doing today.
So, sir, as a leader of an organization, how do you handle criticism?
How I handle criticism is something very personal to me, actually. But being in the industry, being in this vertical for last 16, 17 years now, I have always believed I am good if my child is doing good or has performed good. And I am actually that child. I have divided myself into those number of children. Each child becomes a part of me or I become them. And how they are performing, good, bad, not so good, not very good. So all that is part of my thought process. So I take it that sometimes I do good, sometimes I may not be doing justice, but I come back again with the thought to help and improve and guide the other ones who are coming in. So that is how I treat the criticism also, that yes, I may not have given my best at that time, or circumstances must have not been. So that's how I deal with it. But yes, I treat it, if I have done good, because that child has done good. If the child has not done good, I am not doing good. So that is what my story of life is.
So, sir, here's the last question. What is your success mantra?
Success for me is an everyday thing. It is not something, again, as I said, a milestone that I reach. I get on to this number of strength in my school, so I am successful, or these number of my students have achieved this feat, so I am successful. No, I am successful on a day-to-day basis. Success is something to me. I see all my students or my children living with a smile and a happy face. I feel I had a successful day. My team is happy in their course of life, in their day-to-day life. There is no untoward email coming to me. I feel it was a successful day. My community talking good about us is a successful notion to us. Our students who have gone out of our fold and they come back to us someday and touch my feet and say, "Sir, I miss you," is a success to me for that day. So this is my parameter for success, that somebody has come back to me, somebody has enjoyed a particular day, somebody is improving on day-to-day basis, is where I treat success. And if we remain it like that, then only we be helpful, means happy, helpful in our way of things. Otherwise, the pressure of day-to-day things of day-to-day will always make you say a very different person, which you are not. So enjoy every day. Let every day be counted in a good manner, and treat that as a successful day. The more number of successful days with you, happier you are. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure having you with us today. Thank you so much for sparing such valuable time from your busy schedule with us, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Sugandha. Means that one particular question which you asked me, I also shared as a feedback to you regarding single parent, was definitely something new to me, which was not never posed to me till date. So it gave me some new learning today. I'm very much thankful, and to all the audience who will be viewing this particular video, I'll be happy to help at any time. My contact details will be with the team. So do reach out in case you require any assistance. I'll be happy to help. All the best to Success Tales team in their endeavors. Thank you for having me here.